Hello and welcome to the show. The Lancia 037 has been a rather highly requested car to be run in this rally build series, and I have decided to give it a try. Now, the Lancia is, an infamous rally car. It was the only rear-wheel drive Group B car to ever beat an Audi Quattro. However, in this series, the cars have to be made all-wheel drive, and that is what we are going to be doing with the Lancia. I don't know how we're going to be doing with power-wise in this car. I'm hoping we can get some good power out of it, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. We are going to put on the... damn it, I want the rally parts. The thing is, I want these parts on the car. They're really cool. However, I do also want this. And it's a kind of a shame that we can't have the lights and that all at the same time. Because I want the Forza downforce, I want the aero, because I want bloody grip in this car. It is going to be quite important that we have downforce in here. Now, I will, if we can get any rally parts, such as this, for example, I will put them on the car, because they look really cool. But yeah, unfortunately, I need the Forza aero. I'm hoping we might still be able to get some lights on the bonnet. No, I was going to say, because the way that this, some of the other cars have had lights as a bonnet option, whereas this is a front bumper option. A little bit of a shame we can't get all the rally lights, all the spotlights on the Lancia, but we want downforce. We want to get the car to go quickly down our rally stage. We will put the vehicle onto the off-road compound tyres and max out the tyre width. It looks like it's going to be 315s on the rear. We're going to have stability. We're going to have some stability. That is always nice in a car. Now, what we do about the engine is going to be a little bit more difficult. See, this car, we may do... We're not going to go full weight reduction on this. It's already very, very light to begin with. What we might do is we'll see what like stage 1 brings it down to. I mean, actually, PI is quite low anyway. We might just bring the first stage. We're probably going to swap the engine out at some point. I don't know if the standard engine is going to be good enough. As I say, it's a great engine. I don't know if it's going to be enough power in it to get it to the top of S1 class. Possibly, because the power-to-weight ratio is still going to be pretty high. Ooh, while I'm here, what are our engine options? Turbo Rally, 3.2 i6. I'm surprised we can't get a V8 in this. I'm very surprised, actually, that we don't get a V8 of some description as an option to go in here, because I'm pretty sure the i6 isn't a great engine. Or is it the 3.2 that's not particularly impressive on here? And I say not particularly impressive on here, I mean it's only going to be getting 700-ish horsepower. If we can get 700 in this car, then that would be great, because that would be a big power-to-weight ratio in a car that hopefully will handle its power quite nicely. We're going to see what the standard engine is capable of. It looks like it might get pretty close, actually, to the top. It's going to get really close, but I'm not sure it's quite going to be enough. No, maybe we can do it with the standard engine. Okay, I lied. We can get it with the standard engine. Have I done everything on here? I might have. We'll go do gearbox, I suspect, next. Intercooler only has 1 PI. I know it has a little bit of weight, but I think we could do with all the power that we can get in the Lancia. And then we will finish off with sorting out gearbox. Yeah, I guess that's going to have to... I'm just seeing what the top speed is. Whether we're going to have sort of ridiculously short gear ratios in the car could be quite possible on this, actually. Yeah, we'll have those. We'll put the diff on, and then to finish it off, we will go for the flywheel. So yeah, pretty much maxed out Lancia, this one. Oh, we can get all stages of flywheel. How fantastic! On our car, yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested by this vehicle. How it's going to manage. Its power-to-weight ratio is good, but not the best that we have seen. Hopefully, that will be enough to catapult the car around the course. I also really hope we have lots of rear-end stability. That'd be nice. After having quite a few oversteery cars, to have a nice planted car would be very good indeed. Well, that will be our Lancia built. Of course, it is the reservoir trail that we're going to use to test out the 037. It's going to get 3 runs through this course in an attempt to go as fast as possible. 2:29.8 is the fastest time ever down this course, set by the Ram Runner, very nearly beaten by the Audi RS2. Could we see the 037 throw in an upset? Well, it's not going quite as quick as we hit the puddle down there. It's not quite going to have the same sort of top speed. Okay, gear ratios do seem good. Oh, that turning is phenomenal from this car, but it is going a little bit slower than we have seen some cars do. Oh, the grip is really nice in this. It is really nice indeed. Also sounds pretty damn awesome. Brakes are solid. I think what we might be struggling with is just a sheer lack of power in that opening section. It feels very, very nice to drive. There is no doubt about that, but we lack the power to compete with the Audi. We shall see though if we can reel back in some time through these corners, as I expect the Lancia to, and indeed it is, be really nice to drive through here. So easy flat out through that first section. Is it going to be easy flat out? There's a little kick of oversteer. Had to have a lift through there. We got out of position. That's never helpful down that section. Soar through the air. Plenty of height across the jump. Can't get it back off of that side of the road. We kind of bounced its way off the wall without losing too much time. But yeah, it's all compromised. So we've got to be a little bit careful. We weren't aimed up nice and straight for the ramp, which is a problem, and that just sort of skewed us off on the landing and just no time to recover that. We were not particularly fast around that next corner either. We have it handles very well. We have quite a lot of grip in this car. Still going to slide about in places and scrub off that speed, so that's something to watch out. I mean, these cars are running 500 horsepower on dirt. There's going to be an element of sliding, but you've really got to try and keep it to a minimum, and some cars are better at that than others. This isn't too bad. Are we going to want second punch through the water? Possibly. We'll have to wait, and I think that's... we can probably get away with third. It's... yeah, it'll just about work. Now, how do we do down here? Bad immediately. I think we're a little bit mislined for the first of the jumps. We have controlled it though, which is nice to see from this. We are not quite as quick across that jump, although we did carry good speed on the landing. Just got to keep the car out of the trees. We did carry very, very good speed on the landing, in fact, of that first jump. We only shrugged off a few miles an hour, so that's a good sign for the Lancia. And we're going to cross the line. It's going to be a 37.7, 37.8, which is... yeah, considering we had a massive moment and bumped a wall, it's a fairly solid opening run. I'm liking the car. It's a nice car so far. So it is on to our second run in the 037. Definitely hoping to make some time up around here. Not quite sure how much. We're not going to be getting a 29. That much I can tell you. Now, we are just not quick enough, I don't think, especially down some of these straights. We've got the handling, we can maintain the corner speed. We are just not accelerating fast enough in the Lancia to really challenge the very fastest cars. However, I do think we can make up time through these corners, potentially. I think this is one of, maybe this and the 22B are some of the nicest handling cars that have gone down here. You know, you've got to bear in mind the 22B was 300 pounds or so lighter than this, with almost the same horsepower and more torque. You get the sort of things that we're coming up against with the 037. It is just that little bit underpowered, I think, but nice through the corners. So yeah, as I said, potentially there is some time to be made up there. Hitting that water is not good. Hitting that water is really bad thing to do. So we didn't actually hit it very hard, but it might not even hit the water, to be fair. We might have just hit the dip, like the camber in the road, and it just tipped the car sideways. And as we were flat out, you know, you're talking 120 miles an hour through that corner, as you're fighting the car, couldn't quite collect it all in time. That's something to watch out for. We're also not very good through the water in the Lancia, about 107 miles an hour. I say not very good. Yeah, there have been worse cars through that section, but there have also been an awful lot better, and just a couple of miles an hour that is shrugged off there that other cars haven't had to try and make up. And when you don't have the power of some of the other cars, then a couple of miles an hour is quite a big thing. Around these rest of these corners, though, we're still carrying good speed. Third and fourth gear are not quite... kind of third is a little too short. Fourth seemingly a little bit too long. That's a very, very wide line through there. We can at least straight line through the water, which is something, and get out the other side quite neatly. I don't think you quite want to be out that far wide, though. Can we be better down this back straight? I think we definitely could, because we hit that bump there and got all sorts of sideways, so lost massive momentum. There we go. That is much better. Down there, jump across the first part. Yeah, we're carrying good speed, but we can't accelerate in the same way that some other cars have. It's a little bit shonky on the landing for the first part. I may have missed that. Yeah, we hit the checkpoint, but it was a little bit turning too soon. Got to remember the brakes and the grip that you get from this car. In fact, this is going to be a pretty decent. Yeah, that's not a bad. Again, not a bad run considering we had a pretty big smack on the wall at one point in that course. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a solid mid-table car. It's just how much more time can I find with it? Well, it is on to the final run for the Lancia, and while I did say that this is looking like a pretty solid mid-table car, you might think that's a bit offensive to the 037. It is not. It is a great car. You know, this is a nice driving vehicle. And while it hasn't got the acceleration, perhaps some of the brutal speed we've seen from other cars, you know, it's still going very, very quick through this course. You know, you're still asking 140 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour through plenty of corners. It's certainly a very solid car. Let's not forget, this is an incredibly competitive series, and being such a fast rally stage, if you're struggling that little bit for acceleration or that little bit for power, it can kind of snowball. And I think that is the only real big downside to the Lancia. It is managing the course impeccably. This bump up here has caused no end of issues for cars. The Lancia is that time we got a small bounce sideways, but a lot of cars, if they've got that sort of bounce, would be off in the wall and out of control. The Lancia is very, very good. Now, we nearly had a huge spin there last time out. We ended up having a big twitch instead. Much better this time around. Just got to be a little bit mindful of the bumps as we soar across that big jump, and then we feed the car through this next chicane. I actually have confidence to carry speed in the Lancia that quite a few cars you don't have. It is a very tricky corner, that downhill one. Very, very fast. And to maintain the speed through there and not get big oversteer. That's one of the issues with the Alpine, was huge amounts of sliding going on in that car. In the Lancia, I've got so much more confidence. Although we did get, typical as I say so, we did start getting a little bit of oversteer there. However, it has all been managed. The gearbox, I'm kind of right at the top of third and at the bottom of fourth. Not quite where I want to be. Can just about, though, make it work through there as we now come up towards this watery corner. I'm going for that later turn in, and that's pretty good, actually. I'm very pleased with that one. That's about where you want to put the car, I think. We can't cut through the water like the Ram, so that later turn in, we can maintain that bit more speed. Although that does now ask, that's a lot of control as we come down here in the 037. Get the car lined up for this first big jump. We're carrying good speed across there. Get the landing right, keep up the momentum in the Lancia. Up towards the penultimate corner, is carrying great speed through there. One more turn to go. Make sure you get the car stopped, because they do tend to want to slide out wide towards the wall. Run towards the line. That's a good time. That's a really good time from the 037. A 2:34.6 is solid. I wasn't quite expecting it to go that fast. I'll be honest in some regards. Yeah, that's a really good car, and I'm not surprised to say the 037 is a good car, because, you know, it is a legendary rally car. It is an incredible car, though. That's a lot of fun to drive down that course. To put that time into perspective, it'll go into 8th place on our leaderboard. It beats the Sunbeam, it beats the 288 GTO, the R32 Skyline Ferrari 166. It is down on the Subaru Impreza. It's just over a second down on the Impreza. But as I said, the Impreza has the same power, more torque, and about 300 pounds less weight than the Lancia. So perhaps that isn't too surprising. And considering how much down on power this car is, I say that about a 500 horsepower car. This series has got very, very powerful. Considering, you know, it is quite a bit down on power against its rivals, that corner speed and the confidence you have in the 037 to really push the car hard is where the time is found, and that makes it an excellent vehicle to drive. It is great fun down this course. Yeah, maybe not quite carrying as much speed through some of the corners, but you have a lot of fun with the 037. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.